and the fuel that we use to burn to fuel electricity are all imported. Transport, food, even the woman selling what do you call it, coffee broke man. That coffee, the plantain has to be transported. So when the price of the dollar changes and it affects transportation, it will affect the price of coffee broke man. It will affect school fees. So our historic economic problem has been how to hold the value of the city. And when you look at Bawumia's plans, that he's going to treat the fiscal imbalance, that we've been spending more than we earn, and that contributes to the weakening of the city. He's going to do that by taking a lot of expenditure from the public purse onto the private sector. You look at roads, for example. There's no reason why we should be putting public money into the commercial roads. Accra Kumasi is a highly commercial road, which private sector with the right arrangements can be attracted to put in a 6-lane or a 4-lane and toll it to get their money back because of the volume of traffic. Accra Takrady, the same. Look at the state of the road. If we put in the right arrangements, private people will come in, build a 6-lane Accra to Takrady and toll it. Same for Aflao and so on. So all the public expenditure that can be done by the private sector because they can get their return will be shifted to the private sector. And that's going to take, by rough estimate, about 30 billion cedis off the public purse. Also, the other side of fiscal imbalance is to increase your revenue. His plans for increasing revenue are the best. Everybody say, yes, we would increase the tax net and expand the tax net, but they don't tell us how. Bawumia is saying that with the Ghana card, you now have about 18 million people who can be identified because they have Ghana card. And now your Ghana card is also your tax identification number. So you cannot be identified for taxation. So about 4 million people like yourself who are in formal employment, you pay direct taxes. The rest cannot be identified. They don't pay direct taxes. So 13 million people roughly are outside the tax bracket. But with the Ghana card now, they can be identified. Now, you are not going to do any complex tax on them, just a flat rate, 50 cedis or 100 cedis a month. And they can pay on their phones, and they get their receipts on their phones. And that shows that they are also paying taxes, and whatever benefits comes with it, they become eligible. So you are going to have, out of these 13 million people outside the tax bracket, if you take 2 million or 3 million to be students who are above 18, secondary schools and universities, you are looking at a cool 10 million people who would be quick, who can pay 100 cedis or 50 cedis a month. That's why he's able to say that I'll take off VAT and I'll take off betting tax, because we are going to increase the tax net so much, and there'll be so much inflow, and it will be what you are going to pay and the mode of payment will be so convenient for everybody that people will come into the tax bracket and pay every month. And that is going to shore up government revenue. And the removal of huge expenditure to the private sector will also reduce government expenditure. And this is the most credible program for achieving fiscal balance. Because the fiscal, you heard what?
So government is not going to be doing infrastructure?
We are not going to do commercial infrastructure. That's infrastructure. I mean, the road in front of my house.
So like building an airport, for instance. It's very commercial.
Building an airport.
Or building another terminal at the airport.
Another terminal.
You can have a private sector to build another terminal at the airport.
And they run
it. And they run it and take their revenue. And the planes come and land there and they pay them.
Even school dormitories. I mean, look at a model is what is happening at the University of Ghana. Now, the private hostels, I am sure, are bigger than the public hostels.
Than
the traditional Legon Hall, Commonwealth.
Yeah.
The private hostels. Because,
and they are still building.
Because a process was put in place that made it attractive for private people to put in hostels. So now Legon's population is about 40,000. You know, when I was at Legon, the whole population was 5,000.
You're right.
Because we were limited to Volta Hall, Legon Hall.
There was no way government could have matched up that expenditure.
No.
Absolutely no way.
It's that same model. And when you go to some of these places with all these fantastic roads, they are private sector.
Yeah.
And you go a little bit. Look, can you imagine if you can have a 6-lane to Kumasi and you pay a toll of, say, 50 cedis?
But they are doing it now. They are doing the Kumasi now.
Yes,
on
but
the back
how
of
many years
government.
has it taken?
A long time.
Yeah, and every, you know.
But they say they are going to put the tolls on, and people are resisting, but
Yes,
they say they're going to put
yes,
it on.
but we are going to just lift all of that from public expenditure, because all of those things contribute to the imbalance.
And also, you can use your Ghana card to pass through the toll, and the bill will come to your
Well,
phone.
the tolling too is going to be digital. So
The bill will come to your mobile money.
this business of going to queue for 40 minutes to pay a 50 peso toll,
So you show your Ghana card, you're gone.
you are gone.
It knows you.
You are gone. You are gone. So that plan to reduce expenditure and to increase government revenue is the best chance that we have to achieve fiscal balance. And when you achieve fiscal balance, it makes your currency strong. It's also going to back the currency with gold, because gold is also money. Gold is something that you can also sell, a commodity.
But the question for Dr. Bawumia really is that all of these things, he should do it now. He's vice president.
Some of them are being done now, like the Credit Reference Bureau. They are being set up now, and I'm sure in the next few weeks he's going to launch the Credit Reference Bureau. Some of them are being done now, as we speak. Some of them, you need a totally different atmosphere. You know, so he cannot remove VAT now, for example, because
It's a parliamentary process.
that is not even the policy of the government.
But it's a parliamentary process.
Yes.
It's difficult.
Yes, and he has to go there. You know. So the things that can be done now, some of them are being done now. The majority of the plans that he has, he needs executive power. He needs full executive power. So this
the things that he's doing, just to be sure about the difference between Bawumia and Akufo-Addo, the things that he's doing, he's able to do them now. Is it because it is coming on the back of Akufo-Addo having laid the foundation of education seems okay, industries have started, and therefore on the back of that he can move to the next level?
Yes, absolutely. And you know, every time he speaks, he starts from the Akufo-Addo programs and the achievements on the ground before he builds on. Everywhere he goes, that's where he starts. He talks about free SHS, he talks about the digitalization, the changes that have come, he talks about the roads. I'm sure you listen to him.
Yes,
so
he
starts from there.
But the question of his critics always is that Bawumia says that he should do it, he can do this, he should do it right now. He's president, he's been vice president for 4 years, 8 years.
Mahama was president, wasn't he?
He was, and vice president.
When he was president in 2016, he had a manifesto that was saying what he was going to do if he got back into power in 2017. He didn't ask himself, why didn't he do the things he said he would do in 2017? Because he was president. He had executive power. So
I get your point.
that question that and it's usually the NDC people who make it, that point would not help them, because it applies even in a worse scale to Mahama, because he was president. And yet still, even as president,
so you're saying that
if
the NDC query were to stand, and incumbents cannot have a manifesto.
Yeah.
But everywhere in the world, incumbents have
manifestos.
They say what they are going to do. And the question will be, why haven't you done it now?
And Bawumia really is not an incumbent. The incumbent is Akufo-Addo.
I'll come back to that.
Now let me finish with this gold. Let me finish. You see, now gold is also money. Gold is like the dollar. You see, and we have it in abundance. So this idea of taking the gold to back the city, how it's never occurred to our leaders, I can't understand. But Bawumia is saying that one of the key things that he's going to do is take the gold, refine it to a certain standard, so it can be used to back the city. Well, recently, one of these big multinational companies had about 3 billion cedis that they needed to change to dollars to send to their shareholders and to pay for some of their purchases and so on. This is just a couple of months ago. Can you imagine if they had gone into the market with 3 billion cedis to buy the dollar or the cedi? So this is somebody who will be a duplicate as against the original, the person who has the original idea. And so that is going to be a game changer. Now, what are the things that we use the dollar to buy? Duplicate items that are major imports into this country, and make sure we produce
that. That should have been done now. That should have been done by now. Because in 2001, when you were minister,
yeah,
we had this problem. We could have had this conversation.
In fact,
we said 400 million at that time. Now it's 800 million.
Yeah. Some progress is being made.
Who's going to buy?
I mean, the states
will buy land,
and then the private sector. So when you want to, if you have a big estate, they put in the water, and then the private sector will just go in and build, and that will increase the housing stock and also bring the price down. You take electricity, for example. It says, look, I'm going to build solar, 2,000 megawatts. Our consumption of electricity is about 5,000 megawatts. If you have 2,000 coming from solar, that will bring the average price of electricity.
But this solar conversation has started from President Kufuor's time. Dr. Bawumia is not telling us now that we are now discovering the alternative of solar. We have not been able to do it since 2001. What has happened? We've done some. President Mahamas told me in a private conversation when he was president that he's trying to get solar so that the ministry's areas will all use solar. And I was very excited about it. And I said, Mr. President, that's good. He said, oh, we'll do it.
Well, we haven't been able to do it because Bawumia hasn't been president.
Say that again.
He hasn't been president.
We have not been able to do all these things
because everybody comes, like you're talking about.
President Mahamas told me that he was, and he was doing it. I don't know what happened.
He couldn't do it.
Is it not the cost of money that's excessive? Therefore, we don't have money all the time to do these things.
No. Well, a cost of a panel now should roughly. The mix now is water, which is the hydro, Akosombo, and Bui. They'll give us maybe 1,000 megawatts. The rest are the thermals, which are very expensive. So if you have solar coming in, solar will even be cheaper than hydro.
So solar will take care of public institutions, secondary schools,
yes,
universities?
Yes. So that
the government bill goes down.
The main heavy lifting will go to the industries. But for lights and air conditioners and domestic household stuff, it can be powered by solar. And we have the sun. How can Germany have more solar facilities?
Because they have more money. It costs money to do the solar.
But it costs
money. And we don't have the technology. We are buying the technology from Germany. Germany is not going to sell you their technology for you to compete with them. They'll sell it to you at a very high price.
Solar is basic technology.
It is?
Nothing.
We have not been able to do it.
Compare that to buying a thermal plant.
Well, that's more expensive.
So,
but that's faster. Thermal plants is more expensive, but it can come in 2 months and it's on.
The solar
is going to take a while.
If you install,
not to finish and to install, is that not a long process?
If you install solar installation, if you install 500 panels on this building, you don't need the grid, and you can install that in 2 weeks.
I see.
Yeah, and then transport is also one of the drivers of the cost of living. It says that we're going to have electric buses for public transport.
I think it's going to come. It's going to start. Senegal have seen this.
Yeah. It's going to come to the ports very soon. And when you have electric buses, it's going to bring down the cost because they don't need petrol or diesel. And those maintenance that come from the combustion engines are all going to go. Which of the candidates has this vision? None of them. John Mahama will tell you, I will do a macro, I will try and get macro, stabilize the macro. He doesn't tell us how. In any case, he's been president for 4.5 years. I heard you talk about 3.5 years of doomsday. No, the doomsday started in 2012.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Before he became president?
No, when he was president.
Oh, when he was president.
In fact, in his first major address to the nation in September, he told the country about that doomsday and some 300 megawatts have been knocked off. I'll send you there.
Oh,
September. Yeah, it's all in there. So it started in 2012.
So it's actually 4 years.
Actually 4 years. You know, so when you look at the programs, the vision that Bawumia has, and you compare it to the NDC's thing is just platitudes. They say 24-hour economy. I don't know if it's a 24-hour economy. Is it a policy or the outcome of a policy?
Sounds more like an outcome of a policy, but clearly they have not been able to position it well.
Policy.
It's an outcome
and what should be the major driver of 24-hour economy? Demand.
People have spoken about it. Demand, industrialization.
And you can't legislate demand.
No.
You have
to create it.
You have to create it. You can't legislate it. And the way when you ask them, say, oh, we'll sell Wache 24 hours. As if you can legislate that, hey, Wache is
by
going
force,
to
go and sell. The government doesn't sell Wache.
Somebody says,
individuals sell the
people
Wache.
will farm because we'll give them electricity. How can you tell people, But when you look at what Bamia is going to do, when you stabilize the macro situation, that is the first requirement for economic growth and for business growth. This is a Made in Ghana program, which is going to legislate. Those are the things
by Parliament.
By Parliament. Those are the things that will fuel demand. So the concrete things that Bamia wants to do, those are the things that will stimulate demand and promote 24 hours. Not coming to tell us your vision and then they say, now they say it's 24-hour nightclub. Is it nightclub, they said?
Okay, let me flip it. And I hope viewers are sending us text messages. See, I like the combination of the two cameras. I saw it on scene and I was going to tell my producer to do it like that. And I come so this is the way we do it. So you and me are there together. So
the split scene.
Split the screen for us.
Your studio is very sophisticated.
Oh, thank you. Zoom Lion created it for us. Zoom Lion. The guy called Zoom Lion. He saved Metro TV by buying it because it was going really.
I knew they would Metro TV.
Yeah, of course. You were a member. Let me ask you this though.
Let me. You talked about John Mahama and the cool thing.
Yes, the point he made.
I heard where's than doing so for 4 years.
That's what we were trying to suggest.
Do so for 4 years.
Yeah.